of a lifetime. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you on this Thursday afternoon as we get ready for Alabama women's basketball later tonight. It's softball opening day. Plenty of basketball coming up over the weekend as well, plus gymnastics tomorrow. It's a great time of the year here at Alabama, and we have a little bit of everything for you on today's show. We'll take a look at what's coming up on the program, plus our headlines thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young, the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up on the show this afternoon. We'll start by heading to the Advantage Center, the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center at Saban Field, Bryant-Denny Stadium, for an interview with Ace Austin of the Alabama women's basketball team. Get to learn more about her and her freshman season for Alabama. Then we'll take a look back to Coleman Coliseum to last night's men's basketball thriller against Texas A&M with our basketball booth camp highlights presented by NASCAR. Then Tom Canterbury and Gray Robertson, our softball broadcasters, will join us from Atlanta, getting ready to go for Alabama's opening day in softball. Certainly excited about what's ahead for the Crimson Tide softball team over the weekend and coming up here in this 2026 season for team number 30. Then we'll round out the show like we started it with women's basketball. Kristy Curry will join us, the head coach of the Crimson Tide women's basketball team, previewing what's coming up tonight for Alabama against Ole Miss. Starting our headlines with the men's basketball win, which was a thriller. 100-97 was the final score. Aiden Holloway led the way with 20 points in that ballgame, shared the hard hat with Amari Allen, and made that great diving attempt late in the ballgame to help keep the ball alive and keep hope alive for Alabama in that game. A thriller that goes the way of the Crimson Tide against the team that had been leading the SEC in the standings all season long, Texas A&M. So a good win for the Crimson Tide. Alabama now back over 500 in league play, and will try and pick up its sixth win in conference action on Saturday down on the Plains. Always a tricky rivalry game. Alabama against Auburn. You remember how last year's game ended. It was a good one for the Crimson Tide and a nice win down on the Plains. So hopefully once again at Neville Arena, we're talking about an Alabama win coming up next week here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. To women's basketball tonight, Alabama home against Ole Miss after a tough Sunday loss at LSU. This is once again going to be a top 25 matchup, the third straight that Alabama's played in after winning at number 23 Georgia, the loss against number 6 LSU, and now it's Alabama against a 13th ranked Ole Miss team coming up. We're excited for Alabama against Ole Miss. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. Our coverage on the network will start at 7:45. Don't forget we will have the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR streaming live as well on these same TSN social media platforms that you're watching this show. Then on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, it'll be Alabama at Texas A&M at 5 o'clock. A good opportunity for the Crimson Tide to pick up another win as momentum keeps building for Kristy Curry and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Looking to headlines around Crimson Tide athletics, the gymnastics team, after an impressive, especially floor score this past week against Oregon State and a good victory against the Beavers, now it's Alabama against Oklahoma, a top 5 showdown in Norman, Oklahoma. Can't wait to see the results come in on Friday for the Alabama gymnastics team. Softball, it is opening day on this Thursday. The Crimson Tide starting the season right now against Villanova in Atlanta. Alabama will also be taking on ECU and Georgia Tech coming up this weekend as Team 30 begins its season. Best of luck to Coach Murphy and the Crimson Tide. We'll have more on softball with Tom and Gray coming up in a moment. The baseball team is getting closer and closer to starting its 2026 season in a week, but you can make your way to Sewell Thomas Stadium for Fan Day coming up on Saturday. Get to watch a little bit of the Crimson Tide final scrimmages as well as we get set for the opener of Alabama baseball next weekend against Washington State. And then some good news from the head coach of the Crimson Tide football team, Kalen DeBoer. He has named Adrian Clem the new offensive line coach for Alabama football. Exciting addition to an already stacked coaching staff here in Tuscaloosa. One of the most exciting additions that Kristy Curry has made to the women's basketball program in recent years, the addition of Ace Austin, who is a back-to-back Alabama Miss Basketball, a 4-time state champion at Spring Garden High School. She comes with a great resume to Alabama, and now she's learning what it's like to play in the SEC for the Crimson Tide. She joined us earlier this week at our LLH Healthcare Advantage Center podcast studio to talk about life now getting to wear the Crimson Tide jersey for Ace Austin. Roll Tide and welcome back to the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center at Saban Field. We're in our podcast studio. Roger Hoover, please be joined by Ace Austin, a freshman on the Alabama Crimson Tide women's basketball team and someone we talked to when she signed with Alabama. Now here she is as a member of the Crimson Tide. Ace, just Roll Tide. How are you enjoying your freshman year?
Yes, sir, Roll Tide. I'm enjoying it. I've loved every second of it, and it's just been amazing.
We've loved getting to see you suit up and play for the Crimson Tide. And again, we visited last year when you just made that decision to sign with Alabama and knew that this was coming. Has it kind of lived up to the expectations you had?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's been everything that I thought it was, and, amazing people to be around, just amazing campus. And it's just been a great, start of my freshman year. And, it's just been amazing. And, everything I've heard, when I signed, it's just been just dead on.
Kind of nice as well that it's within your own state. So you're an Alabama girl. It is within the state, but it's also far enough away from home to get on your own for the first time.
Oh yeah, it's pretty neat to stay in state. Just you have a lot of support, and I think it's just not just support for me, but like for the whole team, women's basketball team. And I think everybody I know, it is like, hey, we're watching Alabama women's basketball now. So that just means a lot to me. But really that they're just supporting the whole team.
Well, great success for you at Spring Garden High School, 4 state championships, a 2-time Miss Alabama basketball. With all the great high school accolades you have, what's been kind of the toughest transition going from being one of the best in high school to now playing here in the SEC?
Yeah, that is hard, but going through high school, like, accolades, some people are, all head over heels over that. But like I was never that person that just focused on that. Like I was more of a team. I wanted our team to win. I didn't really care about my awards. But being like that in high school has helped. But I think, when you go to college, like everybody's great players, and you're at the bottom of the totem pole, really, freshman. You have to build your way up. So it hasn't been, hard, but it's just like, you want to be the best you can be, and obviously you just got to put a lot of work there.
And so you made the decision to join Alabama. Who are some of the teammates, veterans on this roster to help kind of welcome you to college basketball the best?
Oh, yeah. One, Carly Weathers. She really welcomed me here. But I think everybody knows that's just the person she is. She's, a great teammate, but an even better person. She just leads by godly example. And I think that's one thing, like for me, looking for the right college I wanted to come to. Like she really just put that in perspective that like, Alabama women's basketball does put God first in ways, and we do that well. And just Jessica Timmons, like she's a great person as well, and she really she welcomed me with just big open arms, and just really showed me how happy they were that I came.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, again, thrilled when you signed with Alabama, made your way here over the summer to get ready for this season. How intense were summer workouts and the preseason preparation getting set for this first year of college basketball?
It was really intense. I knew it was going to be tough, but I always like a challenge. Going through high school, like I was really challenged. We really made sure that it wasn't easy in high school, and I think that really did help me. Obviously, it's a different level, but summer workouts it was tough, waking up early, but that's just the type of person I am. Like I like a challenge. I always want, something to be harder, and so I enjoyed, having to put that work in, because a lot of people will, back away from that, shy away from that, and so it just shows that, like, you got to put your work in early, and that's just why I loved it.
Seen you play a lot this season for the Crimson Tide. What's it been like, probably for the first time in your life, coming off the bench in the ball games?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people may think, coming off a bench is a bad thing, but you get to see the game, how they're playing the defense. So you get to watch what the game's like more than the starters do. You get to see, what you need to do better, what's open, what plays open up a shot. And I think, that's just coming off a bench, and like, that's just how I see the good in it. And it don't bother me at all. Them 5 people that are out there, they're great players, great for the team. We need them. And, so it's just I enjoy it. I like being able to watch from the side, and, I'm a freshman, so you got to learn a lot, and you just have to grow. And I think that's just been great help to me.
Does it especially help you on the defensive side of the ball, just seeing the player you're going to be guarding and seeing what they do and what they show on the floor?
Yes, for sure, because, watching it on TV and watching it, live, like it's way different. So being able to watch, the actual speed before, going out there and doing it. I mean, it just helps tremendously.
And then for this basketball team, how much do you enjoy this offense that Alabama plays in? Because you mentioned finding the open shot. So many of like your 3-point attempts, you have been wide open in a corner or on the wing, things like that.
Yeah, I love this offense. I think it's just a great flow for us. I mean, we're big and, like driving in and kicking it to the open shooters. And I think we do a really good job of that. And I think it's just a good fit for our team. I mean, not everybody would be fit for the, the flow of the offense that we run. But I think it just it really gets everybody on the team a good opportunity, especially for, some of our shooters and our main drivers.
Do you really enjoy shooting 3-pointers? And the fact, too, that pretty much everyone on this roster, including someone like Essence Cody, has the green light from 3.
Oh, yeah. It is great that everybody, has the ability to shoot the 3 because, some schools, wouldn't really allow, everybody to have that green light to shoot it. So, but you also have to have an offense to be able to get the green light to shoot the 3. So I think it's really neat that, all 5, everybody does shoot the 3. But I mean, it's good because, it makes the defense have to step up and play on the 3-point perimeter.
Yeah, we've seen Diana Collins be a point guard a lot this season. A lot of times you've taken on that role, especially if Diana's off the bench, or sometimes she kind of plays the 2 guard. You're the number 1. What have you learned most about it? How to run an offense that can be really complex at times?
Yeah, one, having to be a point guard in college, you just have to have great communication. And, Coach Kristy, she's been big on me, communicating. But watching Diana Collins run it, she's been a great leader out there. And I know it's been hard for her at times, but, I mean, she hasn't backed down from it. And so it's been real fun to learn and watch, how she's grew into it. And I think she's did a great job. And I think, when me and her are out there at the same time, it's definitely something else thrown out there that, I think it's good. I think it's good for us, and I think it's, for the future. But it's just been real fun to play with her and me being the 2.
Yeah, and especially for her, I mean, times she can get hot from 3,
Yeah.
knocked down 4 against LSU the other day. I mean, again, everybody on this roster really brings a special skill set, it seems, to the floor.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And definitely, her 3-point shot has been really killer for us this year. And I think that's one thing that's going to help us. I mean, yes, she's a point guard. Not every point guard can just knock down a 3 like that. And she's been real hot every game. And I think that's one thing, if I'm the point guard, I'll be able to get her that open shot.
Have you enjoyed the home games more at Coleman Coliseum or the challenge playing on the road, especially in some hostile environments in the SEC?
Playing at home in Coleman is fun, but I always like playing on the road. I think it's, you got a lot of people against you, and I think that's just it's always a bigger challenge. It's tougher, but I mean, I really enjoy away games, but being at home, you have a lot of my family gets to come. You just, everybody's just out there cheering for you. So, I mean, that's a tough, question, but because Coleman's so fun to play in. But I like, to be the team where everybody's cheering against you.
That's definitely a good mindset to have.
Yeah.
You mentioned your family's been able to come again from Spring Garden, gets to come down and watch you play games. Has it been tough for them to kind of say goodbye just a little bit to for your dad, first of all, coaching you like you did for so many years?
Yeah, I'm sure it's been real tough for him, but when I graduated, he said, "You're not my basketball player no more." So, I mean, he'll give me advice, but it's only if I ask for it. He's not just going to come to me and tell me things. But I know it's hard on them just because, I'm also the baby of the family. So, but they're loving it, though. They like to be up there and sit there and learn stuff for themselves because, he's still coaching, obviously. But I think it's more of just a surreal moment for them.
What can you tell us about your parents, first of all, as basketball players?
Well, they don't like to talk about their game so much, but my mom definitely doesn't talk about it. But everybody that I talk to them and ask them about it, they're like, they were for real, her and her twin. And so I'll say, so was my mom and dad really that good at basketball? And they was like, you don't even know. So that's the only advice I get about how good they were, because they sure don't talk about it.
Well, your mom was a state champion as well at Spring Garden.
Yes.
And then they started to raise your brothers. And of course, you had to be around basketball all the time, right?
Oh yeah. I always went to practice with my dad when I was little. There's many videos of, me being in second grade, kindergarten, and I'm out there, trying to practice with them. But I grew up around it. All my cousins played. So, I I was just kind of grew up and, raised in basketball. But it's been amazing.
And of course, the name Ace Austin, Ace Clement, a longtime player at Tennessee and a good pro as well. So, kind of with that, did you know this was the path that you were going to go down, or try to at least?
Yes, I knew it was going to be the path I tried to. But it was always my decision. My parents never just forced me into playing it. But, having two older brothers that played basketball, like that, most people have other people that are their role models. But for me, it was mostly my brothers. I mean, because they was always older than me, and I watched them play. And so I was always like, I just want to be like my brothers. And so, I mean, I just knew that, me looking up to them, like basketball was going to be my path.
A lot of pickup against them, and I guess their friends who are, again, just a little bit older than you that had to sharpen your skills.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Them and my cousins, they're always like, we shaped you in who you are today, let us take some, credit. But I will say, like, they sure have. And, I mean, we always played backyard basketball, me and my brothers, and they would always have their friends over. And, just because I was the small one out there, they didn't care. It was you're going to find a way to score. We're not just going to let you score. And so, but they was always, going through high school, they was also just always there for me. And they helped me with my game. They would go up to the gym with me, rebound for me, and just, help me get better.
And for your dad, how did he kind of walk that kind of tricky line? We've seen it go kind of either way at sometimes, being a dad and a coach. How did he kind of navigate that through your high school years?
It was definitely tough for him, but he coached both of my brothers, so he got to kind of learn from that. But one thing for us was, I mean, really everybody thought that when we got home, it was all just basketball, basketball, basketball. But like, I think that's kind of where we drew the line. Like, when I would go home, it was more of, daughter. It was, we would talk about basketball a little bit because every household's going to talk about basketball. But I think that's kind of where we really drew the line. And being on the court, like, he knew how to push me to a different level. And so he would push me harder than the other ones because he just knew how to push his daughter more.
Did he really help as well when you were getting recruited, kind of keeping everything organized and allowing you to kind of focus on what was most important?
Yeah, he did help me. And my mom really helped me with that too, just because she was a college basketball coach as well. So she knew about that. And it was hard, but I think I knew how to just manage, what was important at the time. It was hard to, go through the recruiting process, focus on high school. But my parents was always there for me, with any questions I had, and just would always give me advice on just the little things.
And what was it about Alabama that really stood out to you and made this the right fit for you?
First, just like the amazing coaching staff. I mean, Kristy, she's just amazing. I think everybody can say that. And just the culture, I think it really just reminded me of Spring Garden because it was just home and family. Not every place just has that family culture. And I think, I think this was just the best fit for me because first, like, it's just, they put God first as well, and that's something they believe in, how big I am in that. And that was really important to me, was just I wanted to come into a place that just truly felt like home.
And you're able to do that. Had the great signing day celebration there at your high school.
Yeah.
I had the script A with CE right after it. That was a pretty cool celebration you all had. I mean, that was just as big as a game, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that wasn't just, big for me. It was just something for the community as well, because my community is just so it's just family, really. I mean, everybody supports each other, and I know they was all really happy, and I was just happy for them that they got to experience that as well, because I mean, they've been through my whole journey of basketball, and like, they were my biggest supporters. So I mean, I'm just happy for them too.
Absolutely. And it's hard to fill up a Legacy Arena in downtown Birmingham for the state championships, but they would be there year after year. Had to give you guys a home court advantage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely did. And I don't like to say it, because I don't like to, just brag. But I will say, like, our community we're a small town. 500 students, kindergarten through 12. Like, everybody's just like, wow, that's small. But, like, our community really does show out for them games because, like, that's just some of their best times of their lives is just getting to come down there, just support us. And not just the Spring Garden community. There's, people all over out on the outside of our community that just always supported us.
And now we're getting to see them over and over again, whether it was in Birmingham to start the year at Boutwell. Pretty huge crowd for the FSU game, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a real big crowd. I heard a lot of schools were coming in for that, and I was like, I didn't even know some of these people that were there, but that just really shows, just how proud they are and just, how much they love Alabama women's basketball, and it just means a lot to me.
Absolutely. So again, that's all been part of your transition to playing college basketball. How about some of the things kind of away from basketball that really help you, like especially in the weight room and the impact Coach Markle?
Oh, yeah. The weight room has really helped. I've had a lot of people, it was like, wow, like you've gained a lot of muscle, like you've just really transformed into like, some of the body you needed for basketball. And I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he knows everything that I need, everything that everybody needs. And but he makes you go a different level. And that's the only way you're going to get better is try and go harder than you're supposed to go. And he's did an amazing job. And I just know it's just up from here.
Yeah, and he works hand in hand with Alicia Grisby, the athletic trainer, who I know you've had to nurse a couple of minor injuries along the way, but she does everything with a smile.
Oh, yeah, she does. I've spent a lot of time with her. I'm sure it's not the way I wanted to spend a lot of time with her, but she's been amazing, and not just, being an amazing, athletic trainer, but she truly does put a smile on everybody's face. And I think, when she walks into a room, like it truly just lights up the whole room. And I think everybody on the team can say that. So she knows just how to, make you happy, but she's going to make you go harder in that, that training room too. Like it's hard, but she's just an amazing person. I think, I'm just truly thankful for her.
Part of the great culture we have with Alabama women's basketball, along with the coaches, some of the upperclassmen trying to lead this team. How do you see them try to keep everything pretty steady, regardless of its tough loss on the road like we've had against Carolina or LSU, or some of the high wins we've even had like against Kentucky and against Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our team, I think, does do a pretty good job of that, but that's because of our leaders on our team. We have, great leaders on the team, and they've been through a lot. They've experienced a lot of wins and losses. But they've also learned from great leaders like, Sarah Ashley, Aaliyah and I, all of them. They've learned from them. And I think just for Carly and Jess and Essence, they really know they know the words to say, the correct words to say to us after, a tough loss that we've had, or, a great win. It's a 24-hour rule, but sometimes after a loss, you may want to make it, shorter than the 24-hour rule, but they really make our minds, stay where our feet are. And we're all just truly thankful for some of the best leaders we could have.
And even though you mentioned two players, Sarah Ashley Barker, Aaliyah Nye, someone like Zay Green as well, Gianna Cunningham, even though you weren't directly teammates on the same team, how meaningful has it been to get to know them, to know that you're part of the same Alabama basketball family as they chase down their pro basketball dreams that I imagine you share as well?
Yes. It's been great being able to, learn from them and being able to watch them, just grow through, college basketball and then now be in the league. And, Aaliyah Nye, she was great. Amazing shooter. And it's just, when they come back and work out, it's sometimes for us, we're all just watching them down there, working out. Cause it's just amazing to watch them. And then, Sarah, she's really, I guess you'd say, been a big part of my college freshman year. She's really helped me out, and me and her have really grew a bond. And she's been like, a big sister to me, I guess you'd say. She knows the right words to say. Like, she can tell when, something may be down, and because she puts God first too, and she knows that's how big I am in that. And so she really has helped me out and helped me grow. And she just knows that, it's going to take time. And so she's just been a great person for me to learn from.
And she knows what it's like being a former Miss Alabama basketball and coming back to her home state school trying to lead this program the right way. So that's a perfect person to learn from. For sure. So
I feel like we're very similar, and, just being from Alabama, and, she's had some tough times too. So I think it's just, it's a perfect person to look up to.
So now as we get into this last full month of the season, then March is just around the corner with everything that entails. What's going to be most important for this team to focus on over these next few weeks?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's just, we have to be really focused in on our practices before, the big games, and really dialed in on our scout. And but not just that, like, practice, the way you go into practice is how you're going to play your game. And I think for us, that's the biggest thing, and just making sure, like, our energy is there for, our practices. And I mean, we're going to have some tough times, but that's just where we all have to make sure we stay together, stay connected. And just, that's one thing that our team has really tried to do, is just make sure we stay connected, because, I mean, if one person's not connected, then we're not all connected. So I think that's just one thing that we really got to make sure we do well.
We look forward to seeing it happen. Well, Ace Austin, you're having a tremendous freshman season for the Crimson Tide. Just thank you for the time you've given us today. All the best. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Fans, there's no better way to experience Alabama basketball than with our live basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR. Streaming live during all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this season, you'll get a front row seat to all the great reactions from our radio crew as the big plays happen for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at UA_CTSN, especially subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss a single basketball booth cam this season. Again, presented by NASCAR for all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this year.
Go Holloway, a deep three, bottom. Mercy from 30 feet out, dead on. Holloway with 25, and Bama leads it by 14.
Booth cam up and running for each and every Crimson Tide home basketball game, and that was the case on Wednesday as we had quite a matchup. Alabama against Texas A&M, the top team in the SEC standings. It went down to the wire. Chris Stewart on the call, Tom Stipe, of course, engineering, and then Brian Passink, who sometimes can't really talk when the ball is in motion. That's Chris's job to call the play-by-play. Brian was feeling all the emotions as Alabama secured that win, as you'll see here on our basketball booth cam highlights presented by NASCAR.
Gives it back to Agee, backing his way down, puts it up, blocked by Sherrill, and Bama comes the other way. Good block by one of the top men in that regard in the league. Three, left wing, bottom. Amari Allen knocking home the bank first three, and a great start for the Tide. Bama coming the other way, beating the pressure. Jemison driving down the lane. Tough shot, maneuvering against Rylan Griffin. Able to lay it up and give Bama the 7-point lead again.
Great job at London Jemison, attacking pressure but still under control, and ends up with a lay-in.
Right to Allen. Amari trying to split the defenders. Gives it off into the corner. Reitzel, three, bottom. 40-37 after the bank first three. 6 seconds, 5. He'll try a deep three, no good. Tip to Millette, to Reitzel for three, and what a way to end the half. Another bank first three. Millette, the deflection to Reitzel, and Bama ends the half on a high. Allen on the drive, gets in the lane, kicks it in the corner. Phylon, three, bottom. And we're tied again. Kicks it in the corner. Holloway, three, bottom. Goes into the lane, lost the handle, got it back, somehow saved it to Millette. Houston to his right, three, bottom. Oh, that's a nice job of getting under control by Houston Millette after Phylon had to fight to maintain possession.
Alabama's so fortunate right there. Could have very easily been a turnover by LeBaron.
Here's Phylon on the drive, spinning, kicking. Millette now for three, bottom. Houston with a dozen in this game. Holloway with it. Over to Phylon. Lets the defender go by. Now launches a three, bottom. Great way to end that possession coming out of the timeout. Bama down by 3 with 8:07 to go, and the fuse lit on the crowd here at Coleman Coliseum.
Just said we needed LeBaron Phylon to step up. He used to do it on both ends, but a huge three for the sophomore.
As Holloway will try to tie it, and does. 77 apiece. 7:34 to go. Alabama and Texas A&M in a great one here at Coleman Coliseum. Around now to Allen. Amari getting into the wing. Phylon for three again. Hits it again. LeBaron heating up. Aiden working his way against the defender. Kicks it over to Phylon. LeBaron just wants a little room. Going down the lane. Puts it up. He stopped on a dime and laid it in for two. And it's an 84-83 Bama lead.
Beautiful move by LeBaron Phylon. Able to sidestep past Rylan Griffin for the easy lay-in.
And the crowd trying to help the Bama defense again, as Lane will bring it ahead for the Aggies. Kicks it on the wing, gets it back, drives underneath, tough layup, no good. Holloway another board. Aiden coming the other way, flips it ahead to Allen. Driving, dishing, Phylon to Reitzel now. He'll drive, leaner, good! Bama by 7. Phylon on the drive, through contact, lays it up and in for 2. LeBaron, a huge final 10 minutes of regulation. He's got 17, 1:15 to go. Holloway driving, dishing, Reitzel for the lead. Bottom! Oh, mercy! Latrell Reitzel Jr. puts Bama up 2 with 1 minute to play.
Alabama needs to stop, defend without fouling. The Aggies have lived at the line.
Lane for 3, no good. Rebound, Reitzel is Bama boxed out, and now we got numbers pushing it. Now Latrell will weave through traffic and let everybody get set. 2-point Bama lead, 97-95, 40 seconds to go. Near side, Reitzel working against Dominguez, gets into the paint, kicks it out to Holloway. 8 to shoot, 7, 28 to play. Now Holloway right side, driving, stopping, 2 to shoot, throws it up. Oh! Mercy! It was desperation! It fell! And now a chance for the N one!
My goodness, what a shot. Had to get it up. The shot clock was winding down. He threw it up, took the contact, was laying on the deck when it went through, and a huge three-point play opportunity for Aiden Holloway.
So they'll have Jemison, Sherrell, Phylon, Allen, and Reitzel. Second free throw up. That one's no good. Rebound tip way out. Tipped into the hands of Griffin for the tie. Short. Hallelujah. Let's get out of here. It was almost storybook on the return to Tuscaloosa for Rylan Griffin. But thank goodness for Bama's perspective. While it was dead on, it was short. And Bama hangs on. 100-97 is the final. And the Crimson Tide still very much alive in the SEC race as they hand the Aggies just their second loss in conference play. Bama improves to 5-4.
Hi, my name is Amario, and you're watching Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR.
Fans, here's our next episode of Seat to Shine presented by SeatGeek as we highlight Alabama gymnastics.
I used to be able to say the alphabet backwards, but I don't know if I can anymore. I learned it in a music class in like 6th grade. Oh, let me in. Okay. ZYXW. Oh, shoot. I don't got it anymore. I started gymnastics when I was 4 years old. My parents put me in gymnastics because I was always jumping off the couch and hanging off things, so they just wanted me to be safe with pads, and I ended up being good at it, so here we are. The first big gymnastics meet I ever competed in would probably be Nastia Lucan Cup. That was the first meet that I competed on live television and was on podium in front of a bunch of people, so that was super cool. What brought me to Alabama gymnastics was honestly the people. Everywhere on campus, the people were so nice, so welcoming, especially the coaches, the team here. The entire program, honestly, was just so welcoming, and it just felt like home to me, and I'm so excited to be a part of the family. My biggest pet peeve is loud chewers and people that walk slow. As I'm always walking fast in a rush somewhere, I don't know why, but my dream vacation would probably have to be Santorini, Greece. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful there. I want to go. My favorite seat to sit before meets would probably be in the locker room, just getting ready with my team. My biggest supporters have been my parents. They have supported me through my entire gymnastics career, whether it was bringing me to practices, bringing me to doctor's appointments or meets. They were always there to support me and be my biggest fans.
It's opening day for Crimson Tide softball. Alabama just starting its game against Villanova. Tom Canterbury, Gray Robertson on the call for us all season long here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And before this busy stretch begins in Atlanta, they had an opportunity to record a quick preview of what's coming up for Team 30 this season and what you Crimson Tide fans can expect from Patrick Murphy and the Crimson Tide softball team this year.
Thank you so much, Roger. Tom Canterbury alongside Gray Robertson. It is softball time in America and softball time for Alabama on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Alabama opening up the 2026 season in Atlanta at the Buzz Classic. Gray, happy softball to you.
Happy to be back. 10 years together. And this is a year that I think could provide a lot of twists and turns. Very excited about the team Alabama has. And I'm just happy to be back and kicking off the year in Atlanta with you, partner, and with Team 30.
Yeah, very excited for what will be a fun tournament. Alabama taking on Villanova, East Carolina, and Georgia Tech this weekend. We'll go over all the game times here in just a little bit. You can hear everything in Tuscaloosa on 100.1 FM, as well as the Catfish Tuscaloosa app and the Varsity app all season long. Gray, what are you most looking forward to seeing from this Alabama team to start things off here in week number one? It's an Alabama team that has a good mix of both seniors and young players. There's turnover, as there is every year in collegiate sports. So it's a brand new team here for team number 30. Some questions there, but overall, a team with a lot of talent.
Yeah, I think the two things center around both the old aspect, old in quotes, college old, and the young aspect. We'll start with the young. We've been hearing for a while about these two freshman pitchers, Vic Moten, Caitlin Palazzi, both Gatorade Players of the Year in their respective states, both highly touted recruits. You look at a different publication, one is top 10, maybe the other might be a top 10 in a different publication. All in all, a lot of excitement about these two pitchers. How do they look this weekend? Because they're going to get some run. In a 5-game non-conference tournament, you're going to have to start multiple people. And so they're both probably going to get some opportunities to show their stuff against some good teams in the Buzz Classic. And on the other side, last year we saw Callie Hevlin have such a meteoric rise to where she was all SEC and in the mix for All-American, probably should have been, kind of got hosed a bit. Who of the seniors and maybe the juniors as well can really take that leap? Who can go from a good player who had a really nice season last year to being the focal point, to be in the force? Because right now you look at Alabama, you look at the stats, you go, I'm not sure who the big RBI producer is. There will be one. The question is, who is that person? I think a lot of candidates jump out. Asalen Hawkins, Alex Papillo, Marley Giles, Abby Dukeshire. There are possibilities there, but somebody's going to have to do it. And this weekend is a great chance to really take that first step towards filling that role on this team.
Gray, if there is a preseason awards watch list available, there's one person that's definitely on it from Alabama. Pretty much everywhere, she'll be the leadoff hitter, almost assuredly, to start things off, and if not all season long, playing center field, Audrey Vandergriff.
Just an incredible player. I mean, your favorite player's favorite player. She's able to do it all. She hits home runs, specifically against top 10 teams. That's a real stat from last year. Most of her home runs were against top 10 teams. She can beat out a bunch. She can beat out anything on the ground. She's got range as a fielder. She, I think, is going to challenge some records base running wise throughout her career, and also single season. She was pretty close last year to getting up there in the single season mark. And I think the most important thing for her will be not thinking about anything I just said. You know, she was great as a freshman. The sophomore slump in this sport is very, very real. We've seen it at Alabama. We've seen it nationally. The best way to avoid that is to not try and do too much. Just keep on playing. You're too talented to not keep finding success. And I think Audrey is going to be in a great spot. She's going to be the focal point of this offense. When she's on base, things go a lot better. The stats reflect that. And I'm really excited to see just how she's gotten more dynamic as a sophomore.
If you want to hear a full and much more conclusive breakdown of everything Alabama, everything nationally in the SEC, very thorough, Out of the Box _pod on the Twitter, the Out of the Box podcast. We had a big breakdown of everything for week number one that is available wherever you get your podcasts. And We talked about how deep the SEC is. Alabama in the preseason coaches poll in the SEC comes in at number 9. But a lot of that is just because, like I just said, everybody else is really, really good too.
Yeah, this conference has been the deepest league. And for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been the best league. And now that you've added Oklahoma and Texas, the last like 7 national champions, it feels like it just gets better. It gets harder. And there are no weekends off. There are no pushovers. The team that both you and I have in last place in the conference in our preseason poll, again, plug in the pod, go check it out. They're very much a contender to make noise in the non-conference and even in the SEC because they've got talent. They're not just some scrub. They're a team that can win games against anybody in this league. So, I mean, we talk so much about how the inclusion of Texas and OU has helped so many sports. I think the sport it made toughest is pretty easily college softball. And this league will be full of excitement and a very fun ride. And if you're Alabama, you just got to take advantage of the opportunities that are ahead of you.
Alabama does open up the season in Atlanta at the Buzz Classic at Georgia Tech. Today, as you're watching, it's getting underway right now. Alabama taking on Villanova to open up the season here this Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow, it'll be 12:30, Alabama against East Carolina, and 5 o'clock, Alabama taking on the host Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Saturday, Villanova again at 12:30, Georgia Tech again at 3, and we'll be on the air 15 minutes before that. It's a tournament, so sometimes those start times can be fluid, but as long as it's not going to be a 2 or 3 hour wait, we will be on the air 15 minutes before the scheduled game time, and we'll just do an extended pregame show if necessary, but you can get all that on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And Gray, this is a field, again, maybe not some of the marquee names you'll see in some of the other big tournaments in the first couple of weeks, but these are 3 good teams Alabama's going to be facing here this weekend.
Yeah, you've got Georgia Tech, the host team, who's got a really good offense, bunch of returning bats coming back. I really love Grayson Tucker. She's been very impressive. I like Paige Vukadinovich. She's got a lot of speed. She's got gap-to-gap power. She's very much in the element of an Audrey Vandergriff with her playing style, and so that's going to be a kind of player that Alabama's got to keep off base. Georgia Tech's pitching staff is trying to replace a lot, so we'll see what they look like in the early going. Villanova, I love their roster because they don't have a single kid, at least of the kids that I presume to see the field, who were in the portal last year, who have not played their entire college career at Villanova. I think that's very, very cool. And that kind of stuff is not something you see much in college athletics anymore. Now, what does that lead to continuity-wise and talent-wise on the roster? We'll see. Cat Gallant's a very good pitcher. They've got some good bats. We'll see, though, if that's enough to challenge a ranked team like Alabama. And then East Carolina, kind of the other side of the coin. They went out in the portal. They filled a lot of holes with a lot of kids from mainly Power 4 schools who wanted more of an opportunity, and they bring their ace back. So you're going to see a bit of a contrasting styles in those 2 teams, but this is, I think, a good field that is challenging, but not impossibly hard. There are some other teams out there who are playing like 4 top 10 games on opening weekend. That's not what Alabama's doing, but it's a weekend that will test some of the muscles that need to be tested, including pitching depth. That'll give you an opportunity to try some lineups out and really let the many combinations that you have in the field and in the outfield showcase themselves. So I think a really great opportunity for Alabama.
When you mentioned Alabama being ranked, that just sparked me as well. Alabama is somewhere between like 16 and 14, 13 in that area with all the polls that are out there in their preseason polls. But that's where they are nationally, and they're number 9 in the SEC in the preseason coaches poll. So that just, again, shows you the depth of this conference. And it really, at the end of the day, you want to win the conference, but you can be middle of the pack in the conference and make the World Series.
Nothing is off the table in the SEC. And again, I think that's a great example of it. Like, you look at, a team like Ole Miss, who made the World Series last year, picked 13th in the preseason coaches poll. Like, that's just how good this conference is. You got to bring it every day. And not just in conference play, you have to bring it in non-conference play as well. And like we've been talking about, the Buzz Class is a great chance for Alabama to do just that, to kick off 2026.
So again, here this weekend, Alabama opening up play in the Buzz Classic. Right now, Alabama taking on Villanova. You can catch that again on 100.1 FM, Varsity app, the Catfish Tuscaloosa app. Friday, 12:30, 12:15 airtime, Alabama against East Carolina, and then at 5 it'll be Georgia Tech, and on Saturday Villanova at 12:30 and Georgia Tech at 3. And we will have all that action for you right here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. For Gray Robertson, I'm Tom Canterbury. Back to you, Roger.
Hey guys, this is Jalen Moreau, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Special thanks to Tom and Gray for their softball report. Hopefully a victory today for softball leading into what's coming up tonight at Coleman Coliseum, Alabama women's basketball against Ole Miss. Kristy Curry, the head coach of the Crimson Tide, joins us now to preview that matchup as Alabama looks to pick up its winning ways at home. Coach, it's good to see you. It's also good to be back home in Tuscaloosa for a ball game after some time on the road. How have you used this week to get better and prepared for Thursday night?
Yeah, it's awesome to always be home and excited to be, a little warmer weather and just, back on campus in our regular routine. I think as coaches, we're routine oriented, and anytime you can, be in your environment, prepare for another opportunity to defend your home court, it's exciting for us. And we've got some areas that we've really worked on this week and tried to get their attention. February is about a sense of urgency. And as we head into the opportunity Thursday night, we have to have an urgency and a purpose and correct a lot of little things. I think little things make a big difference.
What were some of the little things you noticed in the LSU game that you really made a point of emphasis on this week?
Yeah, and I think, it's the Georgia game and the LSU game. We had two vastly different experiences last week. And what did we do well? What did we, not do so well that we need to improve on? And I think that there are multiple examples of little things like communication, the defensive end of the basketball, and then a little more toughness and grit. And, how can we continue to take that from our drill time and our preparation and carry it over and be more consistent? We did that in Athens. We didn't do that in Baton Rouge. We have choices, and we have to self-reflect on individual choices that collectively come together, that became a team issue if we don't do those things together.
A few games back for Essence Cody being healthy and back in the rotation for your team. What is she delivering right now off the bench?
Yeah, she looks healthier each day. She looks like she's moving better each day. Our challenge is to get back to the way we were at the start of conference season. And I think that she's doing everything in her power to do that. We've got to rebound and defend, number one. That is so pivotal for our team to have success, a presence at the rim, and then, find ways to get her in some space. And, we need her and Naomi, to get a double-double combined. And it's really important that both of them can provide some scoring punch for us. And also, in Essence did that at Georgia, and Naomi had 6 rebounds at LSU. We've got to do a better job of bringing those two collective, at the 5 together and really impacting our stat sheet, protecting the paint.
Protecting the paint and also scoring from the outside, something Alabama has done even against LSU. Diana Collins, Jessica Timmons, both knocking down 4 3-pointers apiece. Just how much does that continue to be a part of your offense, knocking down that outside 3-point shot?
Yeah, I think it's counting and taking what's there, but I also think getting to the rim, and playing off 2 feet. And we've got to shoot more free throws. Our goal is always to make more free throws than our opponent shoots. We've got to turn the corner and be more aggressive. And find a way to dominate the paint points. One game last week we were successful, one we weren't. And, this is a league of paint, transition baskets, getting to the free throw line, converting, post touches, perimeter finishes. And, we've got to do a really good job of coming out and attacking, play attack basketball and be the aggressor.
And now on this Thursday night, taking on an Ole Miss team that has been away from home for a long time, not necessarily with road games, but just circumstances on campus from the ice storm that really hit Oxford hard. Does your heart kind of go out to Coach Yo and Ole Miss with what they've had to deal with the last few weeks?
Absolutely. We've reached out for support and tried to accommodate them with practice times and coming to Tuscaloosa early. Roger, but I know there are folks in North Louisiana that, my family was without electricity for 7 days, so there's so many people across this Southeast region. We're really fortunate Tuscaloosa, that thing took a turn to the north. It was really, really, so there's so many people, from, Memphis on down through Oxford to North Louisiana to, so many people that have been affected. And, it's not just the electricity, it's the cleanup and the comeback and, you want people to be in their normal routines. But there's so many people that's been affected, and our thoughts and prayers and support go out to each and every one of them. And again, we're very, very glad that Ole Miss is in town, and hopefully we've been able to, provide some positive, experience while they're in town.
Absolutely. And what have you seen from this Rebels team over the last few weeks?
I mean, it's a portal team. It was built with age. When you look, I think they've got 9 seniors. Very well supported with, what she was able to do in the portal. Cody McMahon's one of the best players in the country. A top 5 draft pick, should be in the conversation for SEC Player of the Year without question. And then you look at Lattimore, who's a Virginia transfer. I mean, they're old, they're mature, they're tough, they're Power 5. And we're going to have to come out. We can't be soft. We can't be passive. And we've got to do a really good job of coming out and being Alabama. And they're just so talented and so dynamic, and especially in transition.
We look forward to this matchup, Alabama against Ole Miss. Coach, thank you for your time. All the best against the Rebels on Thursday. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Hey, it's Aaliyah Nye. This is Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Special thanks to Coach Curry. Best of luck coming up tonight against Ole Miss as we take a look at our upcoming schedule. It's a busy Thursday, and these upcoming schedules are going to get busier and busier now that softball is here and baseball is on the way next weekend as we take a look at what's coming up on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Softball earlier today against Villanova at 2 o'clock, and then women's basketball later tonight, 7:45 will be the airtime. Don't forget the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR, streaming here on our social media platforms. Then the softball team will be in action tomorrow, 12:30 against East Carolina, and then 5 p.m. against Georgia Tech. We look forward to those results from team number 30, and then softball will wrap up play with Villanova and Georgia Tech coming up on Saturday. The men's basketball team will get going at 2 p.m. for Alabama against the Auburn Tigers. That'll be our airtime across the network, and then it will be the 3 o'clock tip-off. And then on Sunday, it is Alabama women's basketball at Texas A&M. 4:45 will be our airtime, as you can keep up with the Crimson Tide women's basketball team, maybe on your radios. You're watching the Super Bowl on television. Then we'll be back at Baumhauer's Victory Grill on Monday for another edition of Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show. And then we're talking a lot of baseball next week as well, with the season beginning for Rob Vaughn and the Crimson Tide. This is the place to follow us, the Crimson Tide Sports Network, for all the latest going on with Alabama athletics. That way you won't also miss any of our booth cam highlights, any of the exciting action that we have coming up. Just follow us at UA_CTSN. If you're watching on YouTube right now, go ahead, hit subscribe, turn notifications on so you won't miss anything from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's going to wrap up a busy Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest, Ace Austin, at the very beginning of the show for talking about her time with another one of our guests today, Kristy Curry. We appreciate both of them. Best of luck tonight against Ole Miss. Thank you as well to Tom and Gray, our softball broadcasters, for their detailed report on what we can expect from the softball team coming up not just this weekend in Atlanta, but all season long here in the 2026 season. Thank you as well to Ethan Carabin, our video producer, who puts everything together, especially producing those basketball booth cam highlights, running that for us each and every night here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We appreciate the hard work of Ethan making this show possible each and every week. For everybody at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Roger Hoover saying thank you for watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Roll Tide, everybody.